This is what really is stunning and brave, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Dee is an established, funny British comedian. I don't seem to recall him dipping his toes into activism, anything political, neither woke nor right wing, neither conservative nor liberal. He just stands on the stage with a deadpan face and tells jokes, you know, in contrast to today, where comedy has to be like political and you have to be woke, you have to be left wing, you have to make jokes about Brexit, conservatives, patriotism, nationalism, well, English or British nationalism. You have to target Trump, and it's literally open season on Caucasians. And for someone like him to tweet this, I think it's just outstanding. Because tweeting something like this sets him against his peers. And tweeting something like this goes completely against the woke, left-wing grain. And if Jack Dee was constantly on our televisions, doing the usual rounds on the so-called comedy panel shows on the BBC and Channel 4, then this tweet would signify the end of his career. Remember what's happened to actor and musician Lawrence Fox ever since he did that now infamous appearance on BBC's Woke Question Time, and he dared to say there's no such thing as white privilege. His career was virtually over as soon as he left that building, and his peers, they all voted through a union to get him kicked out of the acting business. No one will touch him now, because what he said was the truth, and the truth is toxic. It's toxic in a left-wing dominated culture. Now, what Jack Dee tweeted here was, I think, correct, and I believe it was morally right. And he tweeted this. He says this because he believes he's doing the right thing. He's not telling you what to do. He is leading by example, and he's giving you a reason to suggest why you should also do the same. So he says, I'm in the process of cancelling my PayPal account. Big tech companies that feel they can bully people for questioning mainstream groupthink don't deserve anyone's business. Now, my own personal experience with PayPal is that they cancelled me, like they've cancelled, quite a few people and organisations simply because of their ethics, what they think, and what they believe. And they are all conservative groups and people who believe in free speech, and that should be really worrying to you. And this, of course, is very worrying because it could set a precedent for mainstream banks to do the same, and we could all end up like China, because in China they have the social credit system. And if you don't think and behave like the central Chinese tyrannical, brutal communist government wants you to behave, then they could literally end your life without taking your life away by lowering your social credit score. And what that means is you can't apply for a mortgage, rent, you can't travel, you can't buy tickets for public transport, and life becomes very, very hard for you. And that is total George Orwell's 1984. If you haven't read 1984, please do, because I promise you, if you're open-minded, if you're right-minded, and if you're a conservative, if you love freedom and democracy, then you will see that today's left-wing dominated society has some very worrying parallels with that book. And so back to my experience with PayPal. Now, back in the day, when I used to ask people to buy me a beer to support my channel, etc., I used a PayPal account. But my channel was reported to PayPal by left-wing extremists who have me in their heads 24/7. And they really ought to pop down to their local psychiatrist in order to get me somehow extracted from their minds. Anyway, they reported me to PayPal, and PayPal being uber woke, they gladly obliged. They sent me an email permanently suspending my PayPal account, and they didn't want my business, and they wanted nothing to do with my channel. So I got in contact with them. So I then duly told them to remove all my details from their system, my bank card details, account details, sort code, name, address, the lot, which they had to do. And then life moved on. I dealt with it in a jiffy. It really wasn't an inconvenience, but still, it was the principle of the whole thing. PayPal didn't want to do business with me simply because of what I thought. And this is exactly the point that Jack D was making when he made this tweet, and he cancelled his PayPal account. Because PayPal have been doing this for years, and they've been doing it to people who are conservative, right-wing minded. Now, you can be conservative, you can be right-wing. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is the left. The problem is woke idiots who are convinced that simply because you are conservative or right-wing, then you are some sort of extremist. And of course, questioning the mainstream groupthink is extreme, isn't it? And it's these idiots who are spreading through our society like an aggressive cancer. So can you imagine Western countries transitioning into a cashless society? The banks would have us by our balls. And when you have left-wing, woke, extremist hipsters working in those banks, then they could literally destroy your life simply because, like Jack D says, you question mainstream groupthink. So you could be on your social media and you could be questioning, why are there thousands of illegal migrants crossing the channel literally every day on their little dinghies, and the government are literally doing nothing about it? That can go against you. And imagining questioning what's going on in the Ukraine, that could go against you. And just simply questioning any woke issue or any current thing that the lefties want you to back or believe in or swallow hook, line and sinker, it'll just go against you. And that is not the sort of society I want to be a part of. I don't want my children to grow up in said society that controls the way they think. And I'm sure many of you who come here regular on my channel, you don't want that either, do you? And so I am backing Jack D to the hilt on this one. If you are on Twitter, give his tweet a like, share it, because this guy needs our support. People like him need our support. Prominent celebrities, I hope, will use Jack D's example and do exactly the same, because he's getting heat for this already. The vitriol, the hate he is getting by the lefties, the hysterical woke mob on Twitter is unreal already. So there we go, that's what I think. Question everything and everyone. That's what I say. Even me, you're allowed to on this channel. And that's that. Until the next time, have a great weekend, look after yourselves, and Roger Trout.